With the headlines. Amid escalation in West Asia conflict, Iranian foreign minister meets Putin in Moscow. The Russian president says US attack on Iranian nuke sites was unjust aggression. No signs of de-escalation. Israeli defense forces have struck 6 airports in Iran, destroyed 15 Iranian aircrafts and helicopters.
Trump, you can start this war, but we will be the ones who end it.
Iranian army issues a threat to Trump amid escalation, says the US has started this war and Iran will end it. 2 days after Pakistan's Field Marshal nominated US President for Nobel Peace Prize, parliamentarians stage protests, slamming Operation Midnight Hammer. And Republic remains the only channel to be bringing the ground reality straight from the war zone. Multiple exclusive reports only on your channel. All right, friends, the escalating Iran-Israel war has entered its second week with no signs of de-escalation. The politics and power play has only intensified as the US military launched precision strikes on 3 key Iranian nuclear facilities yesterday, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan, prompting Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, to warn of irreparable damage and vow a severe response. In Tel Aviv, in Israel, Iranian ballistic missiles strikes have left civilian infrastructure crippled, but today the target was Ashdod. Israel's military claiming to have struck over 1,100 targets across Iran, including nuclear sites and missile launch facilities, while Iran's foreign minister Sayyid Abbas Araghchi condemned the US-called actions as a reckless violation of international law and cancelled nuclear talks with Washington. With no signs of ceasefire soon, the question really is, what will it take to bring Iran to the negotiation table? On your screens are the most compelling visuals from the day. The ones on screen now are of the Israeli strikes that have eliminated Iranian aircrafts at those 6 locations. This picture is again of outside of Tehran, of a bombing carried out by Israeli aircrafts. These pictures are from Tel Aviv in Israel, where an Iranian missile hit. And these pictures are from Tehran, where Iran claimed to have downed an Israeli F-35 fighter aircraft. And so all these pictures from Tehran and from Tel Aviv, from Iran and from Israel, show a picture of destruction all around with escalation building in. No signs whatsoever of de-escalation. In fact, just in a bit, we are going to be joined in by Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson Alex Gandler. He is getting ready, and we'll ask him about the state of affairs there, whether this escalation is planned or whether this escalation is just happening because of strikes and counter-strikes from both the sides, whether this is aimed at some specific mission objectives, or whether this is about a general state of war which is prevailing in West Asia. Alex Gandler is joining us soon, Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson, even as we continue to play these pictures that have come in the last few hours. These are pictures of the last 24 hours of how the attacks and counter-attacks from both the sides have played out. This picture, for example, from Tehran, where Iran has claimed downing of a Hermes drone, and that was a drone on a mission from the Israelis, and that has been downed, underscoring the still available air defense capabilities inside Iran. Remember, Israel had maintained. All right, till the time Alex Gandler joins, let's look at some ground reports. Ladies and gentlemen, Republic has brought to you the ground reality of Israel and this coverage that puts into perspective the aftermath of relentless offensive by Iran in Israel's commercial capital. Take a look.
Behind me is one of the residential areas of Tel Aviv that was hit by the ballistic missile of Iran. You can see how extensive is the damage to tens of different buildings here all around. Many young Israelis are living here, going to the university which is close to here, and a lot of security forces working now trying to rescue people that may be still in danger. In all of those buildings, all the area is completely destroyed from one ballistic Iranian missile. As well, Iran using illegal cluster munition on their missiles. That's why it is not just one big missile, but many small parts of the missile are also spread all around in radius of hundreds of meters, and they can explode any moment if somebody touches them, especially kids. That's why the security forces here continue to work and to reach each of those munitions.
All right, we cut out of that ground report because Alex Gandler, the spokesperson of the Israeli Foreign Ministry, has joined us. Very good evening to you from here, Alex. And first up, are we looking at some controlled escalation that we have seen in the last 24 hours post the American bombing of Irani nuclear sites, or is this just a state of war?
Well, shalom from Jerusalem. I don't know if escalation is specifically the word. For us Israelis and for us as Israel, every moment since October 7, 2023 was an escalation. So for us, this is a continuation of that same game that was started by Hamas and Iran on October 23. So seeing the latest moves both by Israel and the United States are just probably natural things and a natural order of things regarding Iranian aggression towards Israel.
All right, and today is also the day when Iranian foreign minister was in Moscow, and President Putin has come out openly in support of Iran. Mr. Gandler, you think on diplomatic front, Israel is as nimble-footed as it is on the battlefront?
Well, for the past more than 20 years, maybe we can even say 30 years, Israel has been pretty nimble-footed, as you say, regarding diplomacy. And that is the way that it was conducted with Iran for the past 20 to 30 years. But as you can see, Iran was edging closer and closer to a nuclear weapon and to developing its nuclear weapon program. So being diplomatic with Iran has reached its end on a 13th of June this year. And unfortunately, we had to strike Iranian nuclear program or Islamic regime nuclear program targets, if I can be precise.
Okay, Mr. Gandler, last question before I let you go. How much of your military targets are left before which you could confidently say that, okay, fine, now we have completely taken down any possibility of Iran becoming a nuclear power in near future?
Well, Iran is a very big country. It is, from my understanding, about 18 times the size of Israel. Probably not as big as India, but quite a large country as it be. And there are plenty of military targets. Some of them are still firing at us. Since the beginning of this escalation, as you mentioned, from June 13th, we had 500 ballistic rockets fired at Israel, together with more than 1,000 drones, Shahed drones, the same ones that are fired at Ukraine. So there are still many targets for us to attack. I don't think we are done. The Iranian nuclear program is not effective as it used to be. I think we've hit, together with our American partners, many targets of that program, which was the number one goal for us. But the second goal is their ballistic missile program. They wanted to expand it from the around 11,000 ballistic missiles they have now, some of them short range, most of them short range, some of them medium range, the ones that are reaching Israel, and the same ones that can reach India. But Iran tried to expand that program to about 30,000 ballistic missiles, and it was on its way to expanding that program, and we are about to stop it. Because as you can see, and you've probably noticed, most of the targets hit in Israel are civilian targets. It's not because Iran can't direct its missiles at other targets, but it's because they're targeting civilians specifically as a terror campaign in order to force Israel to stop what we're trying to do with stopping their nuclear program.
Right. Mr. Gandler, just last question before I let you go. Quick answer. Is there some time frame by which you believe that you would have decimated Iran's missile program also to a level where it's not a threat to you anymore?
The time frame is unset. We are ready to act. We have all necessary resources both to counter their terror missiles shot at Israel, and we have enough resources for our airmen to fly over Iran in order to destroy their launchers. You know, they started with roughly about 300 ballistic missile launchers on trucks that were and are able to move around Iran. Our assessments are that they are currently at about 100 trucks left, which means we still have work to do, both regarding the trucks themselves, but also regarding the rockets. Just yesterday, actually this morning as well, we've attacked rocket storage facilities and missile storage facilities. So we still have a long way to go. I want to add one thing, especially for the viewers in India.
Yeah.
We are not attacking the Iranian people. We are attacking the Islamic regime that is currently controlling Iran. That is our goal, to stop that regime from obtaining nuclear weapons, because it will oppress the world the way it oppresses its own people. So we're taking on the brunt of doing this, but at the end of the day, it's for everyone.
Right. Thank you so much. Alex Gandler there, spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel, joining us and suggesting that Israel is still not done with its targets inside Iran, after which only perhaps there would be de-escalation. Moving on for now, we go back to a ground report filed by Nick from the ground there in Tel Aviv.
This is one of the areas where the Iranian ballistic missile hit. This is a residential area in the center of Israel. The people that are living here mostly are students, elderly. Some of the targets that was hit here are buildings where students are studying in the university, which is nearby, and also elderly in one of those big buildings. But the Iranians doesn't care. They try to kill as much as possible regular Israeli citizens, and they just don't care who is the ones that are suffering from their blasts and from their rockets. They just don't care. They try to kill as much as possible people, and you can see here one of the buildings. This is a big residential building with many people that are evacuated from this building because it is completely destroyed. You can't be inside anymore.
All right, so those were the Israeli views. And viewers, we are also bringing to you the view from Iran. We have, in fact, Monavar Zama, Iranian journalist. He's actually based out of New Delhi for Press TV and joins us live. A very good evening to you, Monavar. And you heard the Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson. Israel maintains that while they have substantially, decimated the nuclear infrastructure of Iran, the missile infrastructure is still there and they are going after it. What's your take on that?
Well, good evening to you too, my friend. First of all, I picked up certain things that Alex was talking about. It's been a long time that Israel is playing a victim. They don't speak about what they did in Gaza. They don't speak about what they unfolded on Palestinians. Now, today, the war is in their land, and now they're playing a victim card again. It's not about the 7th October. It's about 1948 when they grabbed the land illegally, and Iran has a nuclear weapons. This is nonsense. I mean, it is under the purview of the Atomic Energy Agency, the inspectors kept on visiting it over and over again. Even the last time the Israeli launched its onslaught, the ferocious attack on the nuclear site, even till then, the International Atomic Energy Agency was monitoring it. And it is under the purview of the IAEA. And Iran is, in fact, the signatory to non-proliferation treaty. It's always been playing a victim's card in Israel, and they are showing some reports on the ground that Iran is hitting the residential complexes. Why haven't they allowed journalists to come to Gaza and cover there? Why aren't they allowing journalists to report in Israel? Why don't they allow the journalists to come to Iran? I mean, why don't they allow the journalists to come to Tel Aviv? Why don't they allow the journalists to report about what is happening?
I mean, if I could request, you know, if you go bring in Gaza into the picture, and then, you know, if you become a party to that war, then of course the Israeli defense would be what's wrong with if the Americans come in on their side, you know. So if you can just speak about Israel versus Iran.
That's not my question. It's not my question. My question is, the gentleman spoke about 7th October. So responding to that, it's not a question of 7th October. It's the question of United Nations resolutions that Israel has illegally occupied the lands of others. So that's the answer for that. And second thing, Tehran or Iran is not launching attacks on civilian areas. It is the vice versa, because the regime is used to do what it is doing. I mean, it is doing what it is doing right now because they have blatantly, illegally breached the sovereignty of a nation by flying airplanes and bombing it.
One more thing the Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson said was that this war is against the Iranian Islamic regime and not against the people of Iran. How do you see that differentiation, Monavar?
Well, it's absurd. What, did you see the reports from Iran today? Did you see on the ground how many thousands or scores of people protested in support of the government and in support of the leader? I mean, it's totally, this is a hypocrisy. I mean, this doesn't work in today's world, and it's hard to be a journalist these days. And you speak a truth, it's inconvenient. It is totally inconvenient. The people stand by Iranians, and Iranian people stand by the government. That's why we saw massive gatherings of people supporting and chanting slogans against Israel and the United States.
So what's this regime change that President Trump is talking about? Like, if there is no groundswell of support for change of government, then would the Americans talk about it?
Well, it's not just today that we're hearing regime changes. How many times have we been hearing in the Middle East? What did the Americans, what did they achieve by invading Iraq? What did they achieve by creating mayhem in Syria? I mean, on the pretext that Iraq has a weapons of mass destruction, what did they find there? There was nothing. It's just the pretext amid the there was a diplomatic gesture from Iran, which was still underway in Oman. The talks were still happening. And amid the talks, you're bombing a country. It's a hypocrisy. It's a deceit. And this is not what a leadership demands. This is not how leaders work in the world. Leaders don't lead like this. Leaders abide by their commitments. They could have at least given diplomacy time. They could have waited for the negotiations to happen. And they just played the deceit again. That doesn't happen.
All right, Monavar, hopefully we'll have a longer conversation on this. I've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. And moving on, friends, today also marks the 40th anniversary of the tragic Air India Kanishka bombing, as it's called, of Flight 182. A high-level Indian delegation led by Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri paid tributes to the 329 victims at the Akesta Memorial Garden in Northern Ireland, and joined by Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin, Canadian Multiculturalism Minister Gary Anandasangakari, and diplomats from multiple nations. The ceremony highlighted global solidarity in honoring those lost in one of history's deadliest aviation disasters, terror attacks. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, in a powerful statement, condemned the 1985 bombing as one of the worst acts of terrorism in modern history, calling for unwavering resolve to combat extremism and ensure justice. In fact, just a couple of days back, Canada has, for the first time, admitted that there was a mastermind, and that mastermind was identified as Mr. X. Khalistani terrorists downed that Air India flight in 1985. We have Sanjay Laza. He's someone whose family was there. on board. Members of the family were there on board. Mr. Laza, very good evening to you. A somber moment today. A memorial being held, or was held, in fact, in Ireland in the morning, and we had a high-level Indian delegation participating for the first time, perhaps at that level. You think we have any sense of closure 40 years after that tragic terror attack in which all those 329 people, including your family members, some of your family members, lost their lives? Mr. Laza, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, thank you for having me on your show. And it's not Captain, I'm just Sanjay Laza. I lost my entire family, my mother, my father, and my baby sister that day, as I was aged only 17. It's the first time that the Indian government has sent such a large contingent after 40 years. And it's a matter of great honor and happiness that the government has taken cognizance. I thank Prime Minister Modi and, of course, Mr. Hardeep Puri ji, who have both come here and, who led the delegation of 7, MPs and MLAs from across India. And it was a stirring speech by the minister at the memorial, where we had more than 40 families there. This will not mean closure, no. One of our, requests to the government of India for 40 years has been that we have a memorial in India and a learning center. Because unless we start memorializing this tragedy, there will never be closure because we'll never get justice. So that is one thing that we're looking out for. It goes a long way in assuaging our feelings. I hope that, the minister promised to look into it and take it up to the Prime Minister. I'm sure he will do that. In the meantime, we continue our battle to ensure that we get the memorial there.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Laza, for joining us and sharing your thoughts on the 40th anniversary of the Kaniksha bombing. With that, we run out of time for this edition of This Is Exclusive. Friends, thanks for joining. Short break. On the other side, trending.